already know, cell phones use radio waves to communicate to other devices. When you speak, your sound waves are translated into radio waves that transports your digital voice. Radio waves go from every direction from your device, but nearly half of it gets absorbed into your giant head and body, then ultimately go to waste. But the remaining radio waves that are traveling from your device then reach giant towers called cell towers. It then does a bunch of crazy checks to make sure you're calling the correct person and that it won't overlap with other calls. Then your radio waves are transmitted into glass wires called fiber optic wire, moving at the speed of light underground. The wire's adventure then ends by reaching its cell tower destination, then transmits the radio waves to finally reach the other end of the line, where your message of spicy meatball is transmitted for someone else to hear. But you may ask, why did this happen? Learn some terminology.
G.
No, it doesn't mean your signal strength, it stands for generation. So in the context of 0G it means zero generation. It doesn't make any sense, but it sounds cool. It's the 20th century and people are still trying to reach the American dream, and what can someone do to innovate? Draw pictures? Seriously. Louis Baumer published a cartoon of a man and a woman talking to each other with what they call wireless telegraph. Professor Albert Janka then realized,
wow, this is a really good idea.
So he tries to make the first wireless telephone, and fails. But that didn't stop him. He then presented to the entire world the first ever working wireless telephone, except it didn't work and was charged with fraud. AT&T picked up on this and actually made a working one, but for cars. They then began the first ever telephone service that was cleverly named Mobile Telephone Service. Although it sucked because there's dispatchers that you had to talk to and stuff. But what really angered people was that while the service was available to 100 cities, only 3 people can call at a time. AT&T realized the mistakes and began to improve from their debut. Now, don't mess this name up, AT&T, you got this, come on. This time they didn't have dispatches and 12 people can call at a time. That's a 400% increase. AT&T really wanted to step the game even higher, so two bright minds, Douglas H. Ring and V. Ray Young, proposed the idea of cell phone towers. Then gave up because they didn't have the technology made for this sort of stuff, so they waited 20 years doing absolutely nothing until 3 other people actually created it instead. People kept making telephones for cars and other vehicles until 1973 Motorola said, hey, I got a better idea, and create the first handheld mobile phone. It was a brick with a 30-minute battery life and took only about 10 hours to completely charge. These handheld phones focused on the usage of radio waves only. Ameritech released basically the same phone as Motorola's, but there's a major difference between the two. Ameritech got 5 extra minutes of battery life. Despite the massive drawbacks of holding a brick around and isn't really suitable to fit in your pockets, it did really well. The RG was defined as the beginning of digital-based cell phones. 2G phones also introduced the ability to access media content and browse the internet. In 1993, IBM Simon was released as the world's first smartphone. It came with a bunch of cool features and even came with autocorrect. But nobody cared because the iPhone did all of it first. It became clear to phone companies that people loved to use data to access the internet and started becoming vital to everyday human life. In response, they built the 3G model, which only real difference is the connection speeds were better. Telephone companies again underestimated the need for data. 3G phones were unable to stream Netflix because the connection speed still sucked. Now, phones became something everybody had. At one point, people loved the BlackBerry so much that called it Crackberry. I don't know why that was documented. People then failed to realize that the beloved device would eventually turn on them. Hackers would steal an individual's information to be sold somewhere. People would get addicted and wouldn't stop using them. psychological manipulation by the media. So in the present age, we need to review our choices here. Is it worth using wireless phones, at the cost of losing my private information, never to be hip and not look at memes? Is Apple or Samsung better? I don't know, just get a regular phone or something.